Crimson Isle is a mid to late game island. On this island you can find various activities such as lava fishing, factions, Blaze Slayer, and the main attraction, Kuudra. In this video I will try to cover everything you need to know about the Crimson Isle, including progression and any important information you might overlook but should know. Before the video starts, I'm almost 5,000 subscribers away from YouTube rank, so hit that subscribe button if you want to support me on my journey. Anyway, let's get right into it. The Crimson Isle can be accessed pretty early in the game, only having a requirement of combat 22. If this is your first time walking onto the island, just know mobs here are a giant step up from mobs in the end. Mobs here in the Crimson Isle have millions to tens of millions of HP. As a new player to this island, mobs can be almost unkillable and can kill in one hit. If this is the situation you are in, come back once you have progressed a little bit more. But in the meantime, there are some things that you can do here, but I'll get into that a little bit later. People have recommended to at least have a Juju shortbow if you plan on using the Crimson Isle. A Juju can easily kill squishy mobs, but you may struggle with mini bosses, but there are also people who can help with that. If you are coming into the Crimson Isle and don't want to worry about getting help from others, you should at least have a Terminator or a Hyperion. I cannot stress how much easier the Crimson Isle gets with these items, so either thug it out with a Juju or come back with a Terminator or a Hype. But now that you have reached the island, you should immediately go talk to Elle. She should be around the main spawn area. She will ask you to grab her a couple of items, then begin to explain more about the Crimson Isle. She will give you a basic rundown of factions and later on Kuudra. I will not be going through the quest since it is pretty long and boring, but if you do plan on doing Kuudra in the future, you are going to need to complete her quest in order to do it. During Elle's quest, you will be introduced to two factions, the Mages and the Barbarians. There really is no difference between the factions, so don't worry about missing out on something because you picked a different faction. Once you have decided on the faction you will join, you will need to gain reputation in order for them to trust you, in which you will gain access to more items and more things in the Crimson Isle. After you have picked your faction, you will be given access to daily quests. These quests can vary from fishing, grabbing a couple of items, bounties, and even rescuing someone from the enemy faction. Completing these tasks will reward you with faction XP, combat XP, and a random item. To all my people who are not ready for the Crimson Isle yet, you can still do some of these quests. Once you are ready for the Crimson Isle, you will already have a head start. While here at your faction, you can talk to this NPC to fight them. Each time you fight them, you will be rewarded with faction XP, but each time you fight him, he will become stronger, so keep that in mind. Lastly, this is probably the most important thing that you should do daily in the Crimson Isle. This doesn't require any gear, just skill, but head into the direction that I am going. And you will see the matriarch. This can only be done once every 24 hours, so it is very important you do it, or else upgrading gear will take a gazillion years. Essentially all you do is you have to do some parkour to reach the heavy pearls, spam click and you will grab it. Do this until you have all 3 pearls, then head up to the top and spam the pig until you are freed. You can easily die and mess this up, so make sure you are on your A game, but it really isn't that hard. And while I'm on the topic about upgrading armor, I'll quickly explain the new armor sets and what the point is on upgrading them. The Crimson Isle introduced 3 new armor sets: Crimson Armor, Aurora Armor, and Terra Armor. Each armor set has unique perks. Generally, Crimson Armor is for swords, Aurora Armor is for mages, and Terra Armor is for bows. Just like Dungeon Armor sets, these sets can be starred, although it is pretty different. Each armor set can be starred up to 10 times. Once the specific armor piece has been starred 10 times, it prestiges into another tier. Then the cycle repeats. Start 10 times again and it prestiges. There are 5 tiers of prestiges that an armor piece can reach: basic, hot, burning, fiery, and the final tier, infernal. Each tier increases the stats significantly. In order to prestige and star the armor, you are going to need a few things: Crimson Essence, Heavy Pearls, and Kuudra Teeth. This is why it is very important to do your daily Heavy Pearls, since you only get 3 a day, and armor pieces can take up to hundreds, so you don't want to be waiting forever. to level the armor up. There are 4 mini bosses inside the Crimson Isle, including the Magma boss, which has 200 million HP and respawns every 5 minutes, the Blade Soul and Ash Fang, which both have 50 million HP, Barbarian Duke X and the Mage Outlaw have 70 million HP. All of them respawn in 2 minutes as well. The Blade Soul is probably the easiest of the mini bosses. Barbarian Duke X and the Mage Outlaw come next. And the hardest of the bunch is Ash Fang, which can be done solo but is highly recommended to fight with others due to its weird fighting mechanics. Each one of these bosses drop crafting materials, and if you're really lucky you can get Kuudra Keys and good items. And now we move on to Kuudra. If you haven't completed Elle's quest yet, you will not be able to do Kuudra, so go do that for now. But if you are ready, head almost directly to the back of the map from spawn. You will see a giant skull. Walk inside of that and talk to the NPC. This is the party fighter where you can fight Kuudra. If you want to fight the higher tiers of Kuudra, you will need to progress a bit on the Crimson Isle. The basic tier has no requirements other than completing Elle's quest. For the hot tier, you are going to need to have 1,000 reputation in any faction. For the burning tier, you are going to need to have 3,000 reputation. For the fiery tier, you are going to need to have 7,000 reputation. And lastly, for the infernal tier, you are going to need to have 12,000 reputation. This is where the Hyperion and Terminator really comes into play. People in Party Finder are really looking for people having these items, and having these items makes Kuudra 100 times easier, and it is almost essential in the later tiers. People will kick you if you do not have them, so good luck trying to find a party that will keep you. Kuudra deserves a separate video for itself, but essentially all it is just fish for materials, upgrade your stats and defenses, kill mobs trying to break your defenses, build up an attack, and kill Kuudra. There are reward chests similar to dungeons, but you just need a Kuudra key to unlock them. Now you may be asking, how do I get a Kuudra key? To get the very basic Kuudra key, you are going to need 2 enchanted mycelium and 2 nether stars, which you get from the vanquishers, which have a chance to randomly spawn after killing a mob. They have 5 million HP. Talk to the emissary to get a key. Now if you want to craft the next tier of key, you're going to need 4 of the previous keys to craft it. After that, it can be purchased from the emissary with a different recipe from before. Since we're here, I will quickly cover a little bit on Magma Fishing. At the top of the volcano, you can find Odger, the fisherman. Fishing inside of the Crimson Isle introduces trophy fishing. There are many different fish that you can catch. Each one has a possibility to be one of 4 tiers: bronze, gold, silver, or diamond. Once you catch 15 different trophy fish from the bronze rarity, you will get good rewards. This also goes for silver, gold, and diamond. Once you have caught a trophy fish, you can fillet it, which will turn it into a magma fish, which can be sold on the bazaar. Diamond magma fish can be found as well, which sells for a pretty good profit on the bazaar. Last but not least, we have the Dojo. The Dojo has various trials to test various skills. This is just basically minigames to see how high of a score you can get. Once you are ready to compete, you need to take literally everything out of your inventory as well as equipment and armor. This can be super inconvenient, but the rewards you get from doing good in trials makes it worth it. The rewards for completing trials are belts. These belts will overall decrease the amount of damage you take in the Crimson Isle, which can be really good. You are also rewarded with combat XP and a lotus skyblock XP. But that is kind of some general information about the Crimson Isle. If you have any more questions, let me know in the comments below. I'm also giving away 1 month of Discord Nitro Classic in my Discord server. So if you want to join that, click the link below. I also do give away skyblock items occasionally, but that's all from me. See ya.